Coming up in the news, residents encouraged to take advantage of the VAT-free holiday. Also, thousands of new voters added to the register. And a man halts before the court on charges of rape and burglary. The Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, starts now.
This is the Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
Good evening, Bahamas. I'm Shashina Wolf-Farkas, and as always, it is so great to have you with us. Topping news, Grand Bahama residents should get a 3-week tax break on hurricane supplies. The VAT-free holiday is set to begin this coming Friday, July 9th, and it will run through July 31st. Residents are being encouraged to take advantage of the tax concessions on a wide range of items that are crucial to hurricane preparedness. Ramiko Knowles has our top story.
If you have not begun shopping for the ongoing hurricane season, now would be the time. The Minister of State for Grand Bahama, the Honorable Kwesi Thompson, says that the VAT holiday was put in place to assist Bahamians while shopping for hurricane supplies and equipment.
We are encouraging persons, obviously, during this hurricane season and looking at the what's happening now, and that we see storms are traveling now. And we want to encourage persons to take advantage of this VAT holiday on those items that can be purchased here locally, VAT-free.
The items included in the 3-week tax break are flashlights, drop cords, uninterrupted power supply systems, battery-operated fans, batteries, tarps, pre-filled sandbags, water containers and cans, gas and diesel, storage containers, first aid kits, plastic sheeting, oil lamps, candles, and portable radios. Additionally, oil lanterns and the bottles used for them, as well as duck and masking tape, empty 5-gallon buckets, raincoats and water bots, life jackets, hurricane lanterns, sternos, butane portable stoves, manual can openers, plywood, coolers, insect repellent, storm shutters, and residential generators will not carry VAT charges during the holiday period.
Once again, we are encouraging persons to, one, be mindful of the season that we are in, but also be reminded that as a result of the government wanting to assist persons in their preparations for the hurricane season, we want you to take advantage between the 9th of July and the 31st of July, the VAT holiday on hurricane supplies.
Ramiko Knowles, ZNS Network News.
Well, the cost of building and repairing homes has spiked in recent months as lumber prices in the U.S. have skyrocketed, pushing up housing costs. Prices surged as a result of the pandemic as mills were forced to close or slow production. Well, our news team visited a number of hardware stores on the island to find out how they're coping with the increase. Here's Jamila Mizik with this report.
According to U.S. reports, lumber and plywood prices have jumped through the roof, and prices are expected to retreat in 2022, returning to pre-pandemic levels by 2023. While here on the island, local hardware stores are feeling the pinch, as they say it remains a challenge.
We fortunately have many vendors that we can get supplies from, so we've just been communicating very closely with each and every one of them, and whoever provides the best price, we go ahead and try to secure that pricing from them. And based on availability, sometimes we're not able to get as much as we would like, but we keep it trying to flow in as steadily and as constantly as possible.
We here at Third Dimension, we try to assist our customers best as possible, and when we work out our prices, we make sure our prices are in range and in capable of customers and stuff like that. But what I could suggest that we are in the season, in the hurricane season, that you prepare yourself for it. Try to plan as best as possible.
At this time, we are trying to cope. We actually are shopping around over the U.S. In the U.S. So we're shopping around to get the best price for once we import, that it could actually land at the best price possible.
They say at this time, their prices are reflecting the cost from their vendors.
Our prices only increase based on our costs, so anytime you see a change in our price, it's simply a reflection of our first cost. So we ourselves don't change our internal pricing, but it's the pricing from our suppliers that force us to go ahead and make those adjustments.
Prices will increase slightly, but like I said, once we shop around, we get the best price possible. We're working with our vendors. We have more than one vendors that we can work with, so we're working with our vendors to make sure that the price that we're getting could actually subsidized within the community.
We try to keep it on a maintained level because, we all know that we have some challenges and stuff with that, and we need the business and we need the customer to be comfortable and to get their supplies and stuff. So we try to keep it on a level competitive.
But they say despite the price hike, now that it is the hurricane season, the demand for these supplies remains high.
We've seen a steady kind of, interest from the general public because construction is still going on. So, supplies are still needed. They themselves are probably sourcing out as best as possible as we are ourselves to try and get the best price locally. But we remain as competitive as possible, and we try to pass on the best price to our customers, so we're going to continue to do that.
The community right now, what they would normally do, they'll shop around. So whoever's having the best price, that's who they will shop with. There are some persons that once they hear the price, they will go somewhere else. Once they hear it from somebody else, they will normally come to us. What we're trying to do right now is make sure that all of our lumber, especially the 5/8 CDX, we get those at the best possible prices, because we are, like I said, we are in the hurricane season, and we want to make sure that if we do have a storm that's out there, that persons can get those particular plywood and batten up wherever necessary.
We have different grades of plywood. You have the roofing plywood, which is the 5/8 CDX that you can use to bat up, or even if you don't want to do that, you can prepare yourself for get the hurricane shutters, etc.
Jamila Missick, ZNS Network News.
In other news, the voter registration drive continuing on the island. As Italia Hall tells us, scores of new voters have been added to the register for the 2022 general election.
There are several locations for persons to register for the 2022 general election in Grand Bahama in the Western District. One location is the Administrator's Office in 8 Mile Rock. Administrator Gilbert Kemp says the numbers are climbing, as not just new voters have been coming forward, but those seeking to be transferred as well.
Of course, because a number of persons would have gone through Doreen, we're seeing voters' cards in pieces. So they're coming now to be issued new voters' cards. And every now and then I'm noticing about 5 or 6 young people who would have turned 18 who are now coming out to vote. I mean, some days it's like crazy here, where we have so many persons coming in either to register for the first time or to register because they've moved in the area.
Assistant Administrator for West Grand Bahama, Armentha Newman, says registration will continue at the Administrator's Office.
In 8 Mile Rock, West Grand Bahama District, we're open from 9 to 5. Persons can come in for transfers, as Senior Administrator Kemp has said. They can come in for replacements, and persons who turn 18, they can bring their document, proof of citizenship, and they can come and register. Also, between the hours of 5 p.m. and 8, we also continue at St. Stephen's Anglican Church. So persons, if they come to the Administrator's Office and we're closed, they can go over to St. Stephen's and they can also register.
Italia Hall, ZNS Network News.
In news from Bimini now, that cruise scheduled to take Biminites to Florida for the Johnson & Johnson one-jab COVID vaccine today has been postponed. ZNS News has learned that the trip has been rescheduled for Friday, and that will give organizers more time to work out logistics. The planned one-day trip is a coordinated effort between stakeholders who are encouraging residents to get vaccinated, particularly since there has been a recent spike in cases in Bimini, leading to tighter restrictions and a curfew from 7 p.m. to 5 a.m. Abaco police are now saying that the aircraft that went down in bushes off of Treasure Key Airport in Abaco on Monday was reportedly stolen. Officers of the Marsh Harbor Police Station receiving a report on Tuesday that a 1984 white and brown trim Israel 8-seater plane was stolen from Treasure Key Airport in Abaco. Police say following investigations into the crash, it was discovered that the plane that was reported stolen was the same aircraft that crashed, killing the 2 Bahamian pilots on board. The plane in question reportedly arrived in Treasure Key on Friday, July 2nd, and was scheduled to depart on July 5th. On Monday, July 5th. The plane is said to be valued at $300,000, and investigations are continuing. In news from the courts, a West Grand Bahama man arraigned today on multiple charges, according to reports on Tuesday, July 6th. 19-year-old Akeem Alicia Stewart of Holmes Rock, Grand Bahama, was arraigned before Magistrate Simone Brown on 3 counts of rape, 1 count of burglary, and 1 count of causing harm. Stewart was not required to enter a plea on the rape charge and pleaded not guilty to burglary and causing harm. He was granted bail for causing harm in the amount of $2,000 with 1 or 2 shorters. He was also granted bail for burglary in the amount of $6,000 with 1 or 2 shorters. Now, he was remanded to the Bahamas Department of Corrections for rape until September 16, 2021. Stewart is to have no contact with the virtual complainant or witnesses and to report to the 8 Mile Rock Police Station on Mondays and Friday before 6 p.m. Now, he was represented by attorney Osmond Johnson. Switching gears now, patrons at a local fast food chain say it is becoming a serious problem. Vagrants waiting on the line, begging for money, and some even becoming more aggressive. Well, tonight, one woman is asking the owners of the business establishment to do their part to protect patrons before the situation escalates. Imagine going on a routine trip to KFC and then being surrounded by vagrants who have blocked your vehicle as they seek to ask for some change. Well, that was the recent experience of wife and mother Letitia Campbell Parker, who says she was in the line of the local fast food chain when she heard someone pulling at her passenger door.
So thank God my door was locked, and the person pulled. I looked up, and there was this lady. I guess we use the term Joneser. She's a vagrant, and she was pulling at my door. I looked at her, and I'm like trying to wave her away because I was in shock. But at the same time, I heard someone knocking on my window, my driver's side window, and there was another vagrant.
She says she was overwhelmed as she realized she was about to be tag-teamed by 2 vagrants.
This is all happening one time, and I'm trying to get them away. The baby's in the back seat screaming, and I don't know if he was happy or if he was afraid, but it was a lot going on. And as I tried to get them away, what happens these days is that the Jonesers, the vagrants, tend to be more aggressive. So me telling them get away from the car is not working. She's pulling on the car door, he's knocking on the window, and when they finally got away, they gathered at the backside of my car and had a conversation.
And she says she could not go forward as cars were in the front and she couldn't reverse. But this experience is not an isolated one, as recently persons have taken to social media to share how vagrants have approached their vehicles while in line. One person wrote, "One day I was at Burger King downtown. I had a Joneser to the left and to the right and no AC. It was a hot couple minutes as they followed every time my car moved." Another said she had to ask the cashier to send the security outside many times, while one other person added that he watched a vagrant hit a security guard with a stick because he was trying to stop his hustle. Campbell Parker says this is not just happening at fast food restaurants, but believes owners should take this issue seriously before their patrons get hurt.
I think with fast food restaurants, with beauty supply stores, with the banks, there's a proliferation of Jonesers. And there needs to be something done in terms of the security guards for the establishment, because what happens is I can go to an establishment that has the best prices, the best variety of products, but if I'm about to be harassed, I'm not gonna patronize your establishment. And the government needs to recognize this, because what happens is there is a mental health crisis in our country. Nothing is being done about it.
Now, our ZNS News team did observe a security officer coming outside to monitor the drive-through line today. However, we reached out to the manager, Joseph Heald, at the downtown local KFC, who says that it has been a vexing issue for a while and notes that there has been an increase in vagrants around the store. Now, despite security guards asking them to leave, he says that the vagrants continue to come back. He says that they have also tried having 2 security guards on the weekends, but admits that the situation remains difficult to manage. He says police have been called in to move them, but they come right back. And he also says that they have also encouraged the vagrants to go to the feeding center where they distribute food. However, the store manager says that they often prefer money. Now, we would have also spoken with the manager at Burger King, who also says that there has been an increase in vagrants around that store, and at times police have been called in, adding that they have witnessed patrons and staff being attacked. She adds that they are looking into new security measures for the benefit of their patrons to avoid any future challenges. Well, a leader in the local Haitian community calling for prayers tonight for that Caribbean nation. This coming after the assassination of Haiti's president. Jamila Mizik reports.
The Haitian community grieving today as they mourn the loss of President Jovenel Moïse. Moïse was reportedly assassinated in his private home around 1 a.m. Wednesday morning.
Leader of House of Grace for All Nations, Pastor Abner Mius, extending condolences to the Haitian community on the tragic loss of their president. Pastor Mius says he believes that this is a sign.
We are the first black nations in 1804 who give a sign for freedom and let the world know, but it's something now we've been fighting with for long, because we're fighting our own battle. We beat our master. So that means you know that when you shed blood, so you have to know that in return, blood have to share it to your generations. So that's why God told the children of Israel in Exodus chapter 14, verse 14, he said, keep silent, I will fight for you. Because when you fight your own battle, so your generations have to pay for that.
President Moïse has been Haiti's leader since 2017, but had faced widespread protests demanding his resignation. Pastor Miu says now is the time for Haitians to show forgiveness.
He's a young president. He just fight. He's a hero. He did not want to leave the country. He want to stay until 2022 so he could step down. That's what he said. But they don't want that. Our own brothers just deliver him for that. So that's mean I want to send a message for the world, entire world. We need to share forgiveness to one another. So if that not take place, this chaos will be continued all over the world. So we have to make an end. Just use the word of forgiveness. The lack of love make it happen right now. He just lost his life.
He's encouraging everyone to pray for Haiti and Haitians around the world.
So Asian people, we have a message to share. We had a message to share. And I think that's the reason why Jesus Christ is not take place yet. Because Haitian people need to recognize that we are brothers keepers. The Bible said in Psalm 127 verse 1, he said, if God do not watch the city, those who are watchers, they are watched in vain. So look at that, all the security, high security the president had, he still lost his life because God wasn't watching the city. So my message for the entire Haitian people, let God watch the city and you will see how victorious we will be in life.
In the meantime, interim Prime Minister Claude Joseph has called for calm and declared a state of emergency nationwide. Jamila Mizik, ZNS Network News.
Stay with us, we'll be back right after this.